It was raining acid mist on planet KO-7. The sky was red and full of smoke. The ground was dry and cracked. But the slave market was busy, loud, and cruel, just like always. Jake Morrow, a human cargo pilot, walked through the market with his coat collar up. He didn't want to be noticed. He didn't talk to anyone. He just wanted fuel for his ship and maybe a hot drink. He hated this place. Aliens of all shapes and colors were shouting, selling, and buying. Cages were filled with creatures. Some were dangerous. Some looked like children. Jake had seen it all before. Suddenly, he felt a small tug on his coat. He turned around fast, ready to push someone away. But it was a little girl. She wasn't human. Her skin was light blue and smooth with tiny silver lines glowing on her cheeks. Her eyes were wide, shiny, and full of fear. She looked no older than 6. Jake looked down at her. The girl looked up at him and whispered, "Bye, my mom. She feed me, I promise." Jake blinked. Was this a trick? "What did you say?" he asked. The girl's voice shook. "Bye, my mom, please. She's in the back cages. She knows how to cook human food." "I'll be quiet. I won't take much space. Just don't leave us here." Jake looked around. No one else seemed to notice her. Traders were busy shouting prices. "Where's your mom now?" he asked. The girl pointed toward the back of the market, a darker area, behind the guards and closed steel doors. "They say she's sick or broken, but she's not. She just forgets sometimes." Jake frowned. Something didn't feel right. "And you? Where are you supposed to be?" She looked down. "I ran away from the cage. I wanted to find help. I saw you. I thought maybe you'd be kind." "Why me? You look tired." "Tired people are kind sometimes." Jake let out a soft laugh. "Not a happy one? What's your name?" She hesitated. "I can't tell. They'll hear me." "Who?" "The ones with black eyes." They listened from far away. Jake scanned the area. Nobody nearby had black eyes. He crouched down slowly and asked, "Are they after you?" She nodded. "Not me, my mom. She remembers things she's not supposed to. She talks in her sleep, about Earth, about labs, about fire." That made Jake freeze. "She's from Earth?" "No, but she says—" "My dad was. Your dad? She says he flew ships, like you." Jake stood up, now more alert. This was no regular alien kid. "Wait here," he said. "No." She grabbed his coat. "They'll take me if I stay." At that moment, a loud voice came over the market speakers. "Unauthorized bio signal detected. Security lockdown in progress." Alarms started flashing. Red. The guards began scanning with light guns. The girl's eyes widened. "They found me." Jake looked at her, then at the guards. He had no reason to get involved. But something deep inside him said, "This is not normal. This is big." He grabbed the girl's hand. "Come with me." He pulled her into a row of cloth stalls. Alien fabrics hung everywhere, hiding them from view. A large creature passed by, holding a scanner. The girl held her breath. Jake whispered, "Can they track you?" She shook her head. "Only if I talk loud. Or cry." "Okay," Jake said. "Let's find your mom, fast. You'll help us?" "Yeah," he said quietly. "For now." They moved through the backside of the market, keeping low. Jake spotted a camera and a drone. He stepped behind a wall and waited for it to pass. Finally, they reached the edge of the steel door area. Guards stood near a control panel. "She's in there," the girl whispered. "In the red cage," Jake thought for a second. "All right. I need a plan. Stay here. Don't move." He turned to go, but when he looked back, the girl was gone. "Kid?" No answer. He looked around. Nothing. Then, from the shadows behind him, he heard her voice again. "They're listening now." "Don't trust anyone." Jake spun around. The girl was there. But not alone. A tall figure stood behind her, in shadow. Its eyes glowed black. Jake reached for his blaster. Too late. The shadow disappeared with the girl. All that remained was a small silver hair clip, still glowing softly on the ground. Jake picked it up, and he knew. This wasn't about fuel anymore. This was something bigger. Jake Morrow sat in his ship's cockpit. The small silver hair clip still in his hand. He couldn't sleep. Outside the window, the skies of Caro 7 were quiet again. The market had returned to its usual noise and shadows. But Jake's mind was loud. By my mom. She feed me, I promise. Those words kept repeating in his head. That little girl had trusted him, and he failed. She was gone. Taken. By something or someone, eyes glowing black. A shadow in the dark. It didn't make sense. None of this did. Jake got up and walked to his data screen. He typed into the search field, slave cages, restricted zone, Coro 7 market. Double quotes, nothing. No images, no records. It's like that part of the market doesn't exist, he muttered, but he remembered the girl's words. She's in. The red cage? He needed to get back in. The next morning, Jake disguised himself. He wore a gray scarf to hide his face and used a forged ID chip from his smuggler days. He walked back to the market, this time slower, quieter. He didn't go to the front. He slipped through the service tunnels that ran beneath the city. Rats the size of cats ran past him. Steam hissed from broken pipes. He reached a rusted hatch under the auction house. He pushed it open. Inside, it was dark, cold, and silent. Jake moved carefully through the hallway, past broken crates and old cages. Then, he saw it, a steel gate. Behind it, a row of cages glowing red. Found you, he whispered. He scanned the room. No guards. No drones, only silence. He stepped through the gate and walked past the cages. One had a large alien creature with 6 arms. Another had a half-frozen being inside a tank. But then, he saw her, the woman. She was sitting in the back corner of the cage, her knees pulled to her chest. Her hair was long and silver blue, just like the little girl's. Her face was tired. Her skin had small glowing lines, but they were dim. She looked broken. Jake stepped closer. Ma'am? He said quietly. Can you hear me? She didn't move. He looked around. Still, no one. Your daughter, she found me. She asked me to help you. Her head turned slightly. Slowly, she stood. She looked at him with tired eyes. You're from Earth, she said, her voice soft. Jake was surprised. Yeah, how did you smell like sand? Real sand, Earth sand. She stepped closer to the cage bars. Did she say anything, my little one? She said you'd feed her. That she trusts you. She didn't give me her name. The woman smiled a little. Then her smile faded. They took her, didn't they? Jake nodded. A shadowy figure. Black eyes, it just vanished. The woman closed her eyes. They found her. I warned her not to run, but she's brave. Like her father. Her father? Jake asked. Is he human? She looked at Jake. Then she said something that froze. His blood? He looked like you? He had the same eyes? The same voice, but they erased him. From memory? From records? Jake stepped back. What do you mean? They made her from him. And me. But she's not supposed to exist. She looked around. They made me forget things. They called it a gift, but it was a cage. I don't even know her real name anymore. I just call her my heart. Jake felt something in his chest. Guilt? Or connection? Do you know where they took her? No, but they always leave a trace. She turned and lifted her long hair. Behind her neck, under the skin, something glowed faintly. Take it. It's a memory key. You'll need a clean AI to read it. Jake hesitated. Then carefully removed the small glass chip from under her skin. Will you be okay? I won't leave this place alive. They're done with me. I can get you out. No, she said firmly. Save her, she still has time. Suddenly, alarms rang again. Red lights flashed. Unauthorized presence detected. Lockdown activated. Jake ran. He dashed through the tunnel, past the cages, heart pounding. Behind him. He heard the woman's voice one last time. She's more human than they ever wanted. That's why they fear her. He escaped through the hatch just before. It sealed shut. Back on his ship. Jake plugged the chip into his nav system. The screen glitched. Then a voice came through the speaker. It wasn't the woman. It was a man. If you found this, it means my daughter is alive, and you... Jake, you're part of this too. Jake froze. The voice continued. They lied to you. You were born on Earth, yes. But your blood isn't all human. They made you. Just like her. Jake Morrow sat in silence, staring at the screen. The voice in the recording was clear, calm, familiar. Jake, they made you. Just like her, maybe not in a lab, but they planned it. Your DNA, your ship, even your past, all controlled. Jake's hands were tight around the ship's console. No, that's not possible. He had grown up on Earth. He remembered playing in real sand, eating real food, hearing real rain. His parents were farmers, normal, weren't they? They said I was born in Texas, he muttered. But the voice continued. If you're hearing this, the girl is awake now. That means her mind is changing. Be careful. She doesn't even know what she is. Jake shut off the message. He leaned back in his chair, eyes closed. Suddenly, a soft sound. A cough. He turned fast. She was there. The little alien girl. Sitting on the floor of the ship, her knees to her chest. Her silver eyes glowing dimly. Jake jumped up. How did you get here? She looked at him, blinking slowly. You left the ramp open. I followed your scent. Scent? Your blood smells like mine. Jake took a slow step forward. You disappeared. The shadow took you. He didn't take me. I went with him, but only to learn. Jake's voice became sharp. Who is he? She looked down. I call him the listener. He doesn't speak. But he hears everything, even thoughts. Is he one of the black-eyed ones? She nodded. They're scared of me now. That's why they let me go. Why? Because I remembered something I wasn't supposed to. Jake sat down slowly across from her. Tell me. The girl closed her eyes. I saw myself, standing in a white room. There were wires in my arms. A human man was crying. He called me Starling. That's my name. I think, Jake whispered. Starling. She nodded. He said I was his hope, that I had more than blood. I had choice. Jake stared at her, his chest tight. Was the man? Me? No, she said. He looked like you, but older. His eyes were softer. Jake remembered the voice in the message. My daughter is alive. He's my father, Jake said. I think he was part of something big. Starling stood up and walked to the window. Outside, stars moved slowly past them. They say I'm not normal, but I don't feel broken. Jake walked over to her. You're not broken. But I'm not like others. I hear voices sometimes. I feel people's pain. I knew your sadness before I even touched you. That's not a curse, Jake said. That's a gift. She turned to him. They said my brain would break if I kept remembering. That's why they made my mother forget everything. To protect me, but now everything is coming back. Jake thought for a moment. You said you saw a white room. Do you know where it was? She closed her eyes again. Cold, no windows, metal walls, symbols in red. Jake grabbed a tablet and showed her pictures of space stations. This one? He asked. No, this, she paused, then pointed. Yes, that's the one. Jake zoomed in. It was an old medical research station, C9 Genesis, abandoned 10 years ago. Or at least that's what the public record said. That's where we're going, Jake said. Starling looked at him carefully. Why are you helping me? Jake didn't answer for a moment. Then he said, because I think I was meant to. Because someone lied about my life. And maybe if I help you, I'll find the truth. Starling smiled a little. You're not like the others. What others? The ones who bought people. Who walked past me like I was nothing. But you stopped. You listened. Jake looked at her glowing silver eyes. Let's find out who made you. And why? She nodded. Suddenly, the ship shook. Alarms blinked. Incoming signal, the computer said. Jake rushed to the control panel. A message was flashing. You are not alone. Leave the girl. ORB erased. He slammed the console off. They found us. They always do, Starling whispered. Jake looked at her. Can you fight? She looked up. I don't know, but I can feel them coming. How many? Too many. Jake smiled coldly. Then we'll give them a surprise. He pushed the throttle. The ship roared forward. Toward the truth, toward the forgotten lab, toward the past, asterisk. The stars looked cold. Jake Morrow stared through the ship's window as the forgotten research station came into view. It floated above a dead moon surrounded by black fog. No lights, no signs of life. But it was still there, the place from Starling's memories. C9 Genesis, abandoned, sealed, classified, and very dangerous. beside him. Starling was quiet. Her eyes were half closed. She hadn't spoken in 10 minutes. "Are you okay?" Jake asked. She nodded slowly. "The place remembers me, but not in words and feelings." Jake didn't understand what that meant, but he didn't ask. He had learned to trust her strange way of sensing things. He docked the ship with the station's old emergency port. The system hissed. The doors opened with a slow, rusty groan. Darkness. The hallway smelled like burned metal and chemicals. Jake switched on a wrist light. "Stay close," he said. Starling didn't answer, but she followed him silently, her small feet making no sound on the metal floor. The walls were covered in dust. The air was thin. Emergency lights flickered in the corners. Some doors were marked with warning signs. Biohazard, Genetic Class X, Nitrogen Monoxide Entry without Level 7 clearance. Jake read the signs out loud. What were they doing here? Starling stopped beside a door. "I was made here." She placed her hand on the wall. Her glowing fingers left faint marks, like memory trails. Jake moved ahead and found a control panel. He tried a few commands. One screen turned on. A black and white map appeared, the layout of the lab. There were rooms labeled Test Chambers, Growth Pods, Human Interface, Subject Archive. Jake pointed, Subject Archive. "We're going there." They moved deeper into the station. As they walked, Jake noticed cracks in the walls. Burn marks. Something bad had happened here. A fight, maybe, or an escape. "Were there others like you?" he asked. Starling looked down. "Yes, but they didn't survive." "What happened to them?" "They weren't strong enough. Their minds broke." Jake didn't ask more. They reached a large room with a glass wall. Inside were hundreds of metal tubes, most of them broken or empty. Some still held bones. On the far wall, there were photos. Jake stepped closer. They were ID files. Scientists. Soldiers, donors. One picture made him stop cold. It was a photo of his mother. Young, wearing a lab coat, smiling, holding a baby. Under the picture, Dr. Elise Morrow, Human DNA Contributor Class A. Jake's heart stopped. "No, that can't be." Starling walked beside him. "That baby is me." Jake shook his head. "My mother. She never told me." "She couldn't. They erased her memory, just like they tried to erase mine." Jake stepped back, breathing hard. The room started spinning. His past was fake. His mother was part of this. Maybe even willingly. Suddenly, Starling's eyes widened. "Someone's here." "What?" "I thought this place was dead." She pointed toward a dark hallway. "No, something's still alive." Jake pulled his blaster. "Stay behind me." They moved slowly into the hallway. Lights flickered, then a voice echoed through a speaker. "I knew you'd come back, Starling." "And I see you brought him too," Jake shouted. "Who are you?" "I'm the one who made you both. And now I'm the one who will end it." A door opened by itself. Inside was a lab filled with old equipment. Screens lit up one by one. A face appeared on the center monitor. An old man with wires in his head. "Welcome home, children." Jake aimed his weapon. "You're the one who created her?" "And you," the man said calmly. "Your mother was the key, but you were the test. The stable one. Starling was the upgrade. You used us?" "No," he smiled. "I built the future." Jake fired a shot at the screen. It shattered, but the other screen stayed on. "You're not real," Jake said. "I'm more real than your memories." Starling stepped forward. "You hurt my mother," she agreed. "In the beginning, then she changed. They always do." Jake looked around. The air in the room grew heavy. "He's stalling," Starling whispered. "He's waking something up." Alarms began to sound. A red light filled the lab. "Leaving so soon?" the voice laughed. "Say hello to Subject 7. A wall opened. Inside was a tall creature, part machine, part flesh. Its eyes were black mirrors. It stepped forward. Jake grabbed Starling's hand. "Run!" They ran down the hall as the monster roared behind them. Doors slammed. Lights exploded. The station was waking up. Jake pulled out a remote and opened the dock doors. They jumped into the ship. Jake hit the launch button. The ship blasted away just as the station started to shake. From the window, they saw fire burst from the lower decks. Starling was breathing fast. Jake looked at her. "What was that thing?" It was like me? But wrong, twisted. Why is it still alive? Starling whispered. Because he wants us to come back. Jake Morrow watched the screen. His ship was moving fast, but they were still following. 3 dark ships, no signals. No lights, just shadows in the stars. They're not giving up, he said. Starling sat near the back of the cockpit. She was pale, her eyes glowed faintly, but dimmer than usual. I can feel them, she whispered. They don't think like others. They don't chase with hate, they chase with orders. Jake checked the scanner again. Still there, getting closer. How are they tracking us? I wiped the nav. We jumped blind. Starling shook her head. It's not your ship. Then what? She hesitated, then looked down at her hands. It's me. Jake turned sharply. What do you mean? They placed something in my blood. A signal, a code. I didn't know until now. It woke up when I left the station. Jake cursed under his breath. Can you turn it off? No, but I might be able to confuse it. How? I need cold, extreme cold, Jake blinked. You want to freeze yourself? She looked at him seriously. Just for a few minutes. If my body shuts down, even for a short time, the signal might go dark. Jake stood still for a moment. Are you sure about this? Starling smiled weakly. No, but if we don't try, we die. Jake led her to the cryo chamber in the back of the ship. It was meant for food storage and emergencies. Not for people. But it would have to do. He programmed the lowest setting. Just enough to shut her system down without damage. You'll wake me? She asked. Jake nodded. Promise. She stepped inside. The glass door closed. Cold mist filled the chamber. Her eyes closed. Jake returned to the cockpit. The enemy ships were almost in firing range. He waited. 1 minute, 2, then the scanner blinked. Targets lost. Signal dropped. Jake sat back, exhaling hard. It worked. The enemy ship slowed, then turned. They faded into the black, retreating like shadows into space. Jake didn't celebrate. He rushed back to the chamber. He entered the override code. The glass opened. Cold air rushed out. Starling lay still like a statue. Come on, he said. Wake up. He rubbed her arms, her hands. No response. Don't do this. Then breath. Her eyes opened. They glowed bright silver. She sat up fast, gasping. Jake held her steady. Easy, she blinked, looked around. Did it work? They're gone, she smiled, weak but proud. Told you. Jake laughed softly, half in relief, half in fear. Never do that again. Hours later, the ship floated in silent space. Jake checked systems, all clear. For now, Starling rested on a padded bench, wrapped in a blanket. They'll come again, she said. Jake nodded. Yeah, but now we know how to hide. She looked at him. They won't stop, not until I'm either captured or dead. Then we don't stop either, Jake replied. We find out who made them. We end it. Starling sat up slowly. There's one place left. Jake looked over. Where? I don't know its name, but I remember a door. Black metal, no signs, no guards. Behind it was truth. Jake raised an eyebrow. That's not much to go on. It had stars carved into it and a symbol. Like this. She drew it in the fogged glass of the ship's window. Jake stared at the shape. He knew it. That's not a symbol. Then what? That's a military unit code. Old Earth Defense. Project Orion. Starling tilted her head. Orion? Jake typed it into the console. A locked file appeared. Jake frowned. Even with my clearance, it's blocked. Then Starling placed her hand on the console. The screen blinked. Unlocked. Jake stared at her. How did you? Some doors only open for people like me. The file revealed coordinates. Far out. The unknown space. Jake sighed. If we go there, we might not come back. Starling stood. I'd rather die with answers than live with lies. Jake set course. As the ship turned, he noticed something strange in the message logs. A voice recording had appeared. Unknown sender. He played it. A deep, synthetic voice spoke. You are being watched. Do not trust your blood. Even stars lie. The message ended. Jake looked at Starling. She didn't seem surprised. He's watching again. The listener? Jake asked. She nodded slowly. And he's not alone anymore. As the ship disappeared into the void, neither of them saw the fourth ship hiding in the asteroid field behind them. It had no lights. No name. No crew. Only one thing inside. A copy of Starling, eyes open, waiting, asterisk. The ship drifted through empty space. Far from all known maps. No signals, no planets. Just silence. Inside. Jake Morrow stared at a small glass chip in his hand, the one taken from under Starling's mother's skin. It looked simple, clear, cold, but something inside it glowed faintly. Like a heartbeat, Starling stood nearby, watching him. Are you ready? She asked softly. Jake didn't answer. He just slid the chip into the console. The screen blinked. Voice began to speak. It wasn't robotic. It wasn't alien. It was a man's voice. Warm, calm, human. Jake, if you're seeing this, then I failed. Jake froze. The man on the screen looked older. Gray hair, tired eyes, a scar on his cheek. But Jake knew that face. Dad, he whispered. I was part of something once, the man continued. A dream. Project Orion. We wanted to save humanity. Build something stronger, smarter, kinder, but it changed. Jake leaned forward. They turned our science into weapons. Our children into tools. Your mother tried to stop it. So did I. They erased us, burned our names from history. The screen flickered, then returned. You were born naturally. But you were marked. Your DNA carries the signal of the project. That's why they've always watched you. Why they let you fly free, but only so far. Jake's hands curled into fists. Starling, she's not my sister? The voice answered him as if it knew the question. No, not by blood. But you share something deeper. The same blueprint. She was made using your early DNA scans. She is your echo. A second version, designed, not born. Starling looked down. Her voice was quiet. So I'm not real? Jake turned to her. You're real to me, the message continued. If you're together now, then there's hope. She is more than they built. She is choosing, feeling, that's what they fear. The man's eyes grew hard. They are hiding in the Orion vault. That's where this all ends. That's where he is. Jake leaned closer. Who? The screen flashed an image. A man in a lab coat, eyes pitch black. No name, just a title. The listener. He was human once, Jake's father said. But he let the machine inside. He gave up memory for control. He listens, learns, and now he wants Starling. Jake whispered, why? Because she's the last key. The one thing he can't predict. Her mind, it bends reality. And she's still growing. The message began to break up. I'm out of time. Jake, if you reach the vault, don't. Trust the doors. Don't follow the maps. Follow her. Only she knows the real path. The screen turned black. Silence. Starling sat down. I was made from you, she said. Not just from me, Jake replied. From the best of us. But I'm not normal. Jake smiled faintly. Neither am I. A soft beep echoed from the console. A new message had appeared. Coordinates. Deep space, hidden in a dark zone called Sector Null. Jake tapped the data. That's where the vault is. Starling nodded slowly. I remember it now. The door wasn't just black, it was alive. Alive? It responded to fear. To memory, it read me. Jake stood. Then we need to be ready. If that place knows us, it'll use us. Later. As the ship prepared to jump, Jake sat alone in the engine room. He looked again at the frozen screen where his father had spoken. You were marked. The words stayed in his head. Was anything in his life real? His job? His friends? His choices? Or was he always on a path someone else built? I won't be a tool, he whispered. Not anymore. He reached into the storage panel and pulled out a small case. Inside was a chip of his own, something he had stolen years ago from a black site he once delivered cargo to. He never knew what it did. Now. Maybe it was time to find out. He connected it to the ship's AI. The screen flashed. A new voice spoke. Hello, Jake. Shall we end the story together? Jake blinked. Who are you? I'm the last piece your father left behind. Starling entered, her eyes wide. I felt something. You opened a gate, Jake nodded. And on the other side, is everything we were never supposed to know? Outside the ship, the stars around Sector Null began to flicker, one by one. They turned black dot, and far in the distance, in the shadow of a dead star, something was watching dot, waiting dot, and whispering. She is awake. Sector Null was darker than space itself. No stars, no sound. Only silence. Jake Morrow's ship floated near a black structure, huge, circular, and buried in a dead asteroid. It wasn't just a base, it was a vault. Or maybe a grave, Starling stood beside him, her small hand trembling. This is the place, she whispered, where everything ends. Jake nodded. Let's make sure it ends the right way. They stepped into the airlock. As the doors opened, cold air rushed out. Not cold like space, but something deeper. A chill that touched memory. The inside was all black walls, smooth and curved. Lights flickered without bulbs. Doors opened without sound. Jake pulled out his blaster. Starling didn't need a weapon. She was already glowing. Faint light pulsing from her hands and face. It's reading us, she said. Every step we take, it's learning. Jake looked at her. Then let's teach it something it won't like. They moved deeper. Suddenly, the hallway split. One path showed Earth, green and alive. The other showed fire and war, burning ships, screams, destruction, starped. It's trying to confuse us. Which way? Neither. She turned and walked straight through the wall. Jake stared. Starling? Her voice came from the other side. It's not real. Walk through it. Jake took a deep breath and stepped forward. The wall felt like warm water. He passed through. On the other side was a single door, black metal, with tiny stars carved into it. Just like her memory. It opened by itself. Inside was a round chamber with a glowing floor. In the center stood a tall figure, dressed in a white coat. Face pale, eyes completely black. The listener, he turned toward them. Welcome, Starling. And, welcome, Echo. Jake raised his weapon. I'm no one's Echo. Oh, but you are. Created by fear, raised by lies, just like her. Starling stepped forward. Why did you make me? Because humanity needed evolution. You were the bridge, but you escaped the path. You started to feel, Jake shouted. You turned people into test subjects. And Earth survived. Look outside. What do you see? He raised his arm. The ceiling turned to glass. They saw space. Around Earth, hundreds of alien warships. They're waiting, the listener said. Unless you give her to me, Earth burns. Jake stared at the ships, each one bigger than his entire home city. You'd kill billions? To save. The code, yes, Starling whispered. He wants to copy me. Control me, correct, the listener said. You are the last free variable. Once I map your mind, everything becomes order. Jake clenched his fists. Why now? Why not before? Because now. She's strong enough to overwrite me. You're not the weapon. She is. He turned to Starling. You can stop all of this. If you join me, the war ends. You'll never be alone again. Starling stepped forward. Jake grabbed her arm. No, you don't have to. She looked at him, tears in her glowing eyes. If I go with him, Earth is safe. But you won't be you. Then what should I do? Jake let go of her arm. He didn't have an answer. She looked at the floor. All my life I wanted to be real. But maybe being real means choosing your end. She walked toward the listener. He opened his arms. Then she stopped. I have one condition, she said. Name it. Let Jake go. Free his path. Erase your claim on him. The listener tilted his head. Agreed. Jake shouted, Don't do this. Starling smiled. It's okay. I'm not giving up. She closed her eyes. Suddenly, the floor lit up. Her body glowed white-hot. The listener stepped back, confused. What are you doing? Choosing. A blast of energy exploded from her chest. The chamber shook. Walls cracked. Lights died. The listener screamed, grabbing his head. You're rewriting me. Yes, she said, with something you'll never understand. What? Love. Her body lifted into the air. Jake reached out. Starling! Remember me, she said. Then. Everything went white. Jake woke up on his ship, alone. The vault was gone. Sector null was empty. No sign of Starling, no sign of the listener. Just silence. He checked the Earth feed, the warships. Gone. Earth was safe. Jake sat in silence. He opened the memory chip one last time. A new message had appeared. Starling's voice. Hi Jake, if you're hearing this, I'm still inside the system, but I'm free. I chose who I am, and that makes me real. Don't be sad, just fly. The message ended. Jake started the engine. The stars opened in front of him, and he smiled. Let's fly, Starling.